Good afternoon. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my phone is silenced. I might suggest that you do the same with yours. I think there's a pretty good chance that at some point during the next half hour, at least one of us is going to receive an incoming text or a robocall. And I don't think you want to be the one that everyone turns and stares at when that call or text comes in. Friends, we've come together today to show our love and our respect at this memorial for Darlene Holbert. These are the words of Jesus recorded in John chapter 14. Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. The Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Darlene Frances Holbert of Lincoln passed away peacefully last Thursday, November 10th, 2022, with her loving children by her side at the age of 87 years old. Darlene was born on March 1st, 1935, to Emma Kolar and Clarence Hohensee in western Nebraska. Darlene married Elmer Holbert in 1952, and they were blessed with 6 children, 9 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. She enjoyed life. She was quick with a smile, and her laugh was contagious. Darlene loved spending time with her family and friends and enjoyed traveling to see her kids. She loved planting flowers, she loved bowling, she loved reading, and she loved watching Husker football. Darlene retired from the state of Nebraska print shop in 2007. She also enjoyed her years working as a waitress at the VFW and at Holiday Inn. Darlene had been preceded in death by her parents, Emma and Clarence Hohensee. She'd been preceded by her sister, Gladys Purcell, as well as Gladys's husband, George. She had been preceded by her grandson, Michael Holbert, and by her beloved dog, Daisy. And Darlene is survived by her brothers, Alan Hohensee and his wife, Sue, and Jack Hohensee and his wife, Cheryl. She is survived by her children, Rick Holbert and his wife, Sue, Joe Holbert and his special friend, Kathy Mon, Larry Holbert and his wife, Teresa, Terry Holbert and his partner, Alan Lavoie, Pam Holbert and Vicki Tohill and her husband, Jimmy. Darlene is survived by her grandchildren, Vicki Becote and her partner, Jim Bebo, Elizabeth Markley and her husband, Ben, Michelle Reed, Jeff Holbert, Sarah Hicks and her partner, Kyle Meredith, Caitlin Eversole and her partner, Alex Binder, Andrew Holbert and his wife, Whitney, and Brian Holbert and his wife, Kristen. Darlene is also survived by numerous nieces, nephews, and other extended family members. And friends, you realize, of course, that what I've just shared with you is the basic biographical information about Darlene's life. Of course, you know that there was a lot more to her life than just these biographical facts. Here in just a couple of minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, and we're going to give you the opportunity to be a part and to say a few words about Darlene. Perhaps you could be taking the next couple of minutes to be thinking about what you'd like to say about her. While you think about what you'd like to say, we're going to invite David Wiedner to come, and he is going to perform for us a song titled Mother Dear. David, thank you so much. Well, friends, as I mentioned, we're going to open it up at this time. You are welcome to take this opportunity to share a favorite memory, a favorite story, or simply to express some of the things that you appreciated the most about Darlene. We do ask that you come and you speak from the podium because the service is being live streamed. Those who are watching the live stream won't be able to see and hear you unless you come and you speak from the podium. Is there anyone that has anything that they would like to remember about Darlene this afternoon?
For those of you who may not know me, I am Brooklyn, daughter of Brian Holbert, granddaughter of Rick and Sue Holbert, and great-granddaughter of Darlene Holbert. My great-grandma was a lover, fighter, and most of all loved her family. I truly think she has changed so many people's lives. I was sad, upset, and angry all in one seeing her in the hospital, and if you asked my grandma and dad, you would know that if I knew they were there, I would text them every 30 minutes to check up, no matter where I was or what I was doing. In her last few days, I wish I would have went. I'm sad, but I'm also at peace with the fact that she's free from pain and gets to see her loved ones who passed before her. I'm praying for everyone in here today, and I hope that you all realize how much love she truly has for each and every one of you. I remember a time where we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings. She was 80, I believe, and they wouldn't give her any alcohol because she didn't have her ID, as if it as if it wasn't obvious she was over 21. My grandma once went to Alaska, and after visiting the small town of Nanana, she said she wished she could have a do-over and live there, marry a local guy or Eskimo, and work in the little bar there where life would be simple. So that is why I'm wearing this hat today. I know she's at peace now and watching over us all. You are gone, but surely will not be forgotten. I won't hesitate to think about you when I see a picture on a wall. I'll forever remember your contagious smile. I'll keep playing volleyball for you, do my best in school, and I'll continue to say Mrs. Ford instead of Mrs. Fjord like you used to always tease me about saying it wrong. I love you so much. Rest easy, Grandma.
Hi, I'm Jameson, daughter of Kristen and Brian Holbert, great-grandchild of Grandma Darlene. I truly do not think I can say goodbye to my grandma unless I say a few things. But when I say goodbye, I do not mean goodbye forever, just until I meet her again in heaven. My grandma Darlene always made sure I felt like I was part of the family. Even when I didn't feel like I fit in the family, she always made me feel like I did. I remember the first time I met her, she told me how beautiful she thought I was. My grandma never failed to remind me how much she loved me and how much she cared about me. She was the sweetest, most caring person and soul I've ever met and ever will meet. Her genuine smile always brought me and so many other people happiness. Without her, I'd not be the person I am today. So to her, I say thank you because all of us are better people because of her. I will miss walking into her house and seeing her smile in her chair, and I will miss her huge hugs. And lastly, the last thing she told me in the hospital when I saw her is that my hair was uneven. So Grandma, for you, I will make sure my hair is always even from now on. I love you, Grandma, so much. Rest easy.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny May, daughter of Andrew and Whitney Holbert, granddaughter of Rick and Sue, and great-granddaughter of Grandma Darlene. Today I wanted to share who my great-grandma was to me. Great-grandma was accepting of each of us as we were. Great-grandma was the walls in her home that were filled with hundreds of pictures of her family and friends. And while it seemed chaotic at the time, walking through her house now, you can feel her love plastered on the walls. Great-grandma was colorful. She always wore bright colors that not only brought joy to her, but everyone who was around her. One of my favorite memories of great-grandma was when I stopped by after my soccer game in my bright yellow soccer uniform, and she insisted that she got a picture of me posing by Joe's yellow Jeep for her to hang on her wall. Great-grandma was kind and always smiling. I think I speak for everyone in this room when I hope that we all get to experience a long and love-filled life as Grandma did.
Ladies, thank you so much. All three of you did an absolutely outstanding job. Greatly appreciate it. Is there anyone else that has anything that they would like to remember about Darlene this afternoon? All right.
Hi guys, I'm Whitney, married to Darlene's grandson, Andrew. I'm going to be reading this for Darlene's daughter, Vicky. So this is written by Vicky. Those eyes, those beautiful green eyes, that smile, that infectious, endless smile. You were an angel in the shape of our mom. Who was Mama's favorite child? First was Ricky, my Ricky. About a month or two ago, she said, I can't stop thinking about my Ricky. He is so talented and such a great artist, such a wonderful dad. I just can't stop thinking about my Ricky. In the hospital, where is Ricky? He is right here, Mom. Oh, good. Next is Joe, my Joe. Oh, my Joe, we are just alike. We eat the same, we think the same, we are two peas in a pod. We can't thank you enough, Joe, for giving Mama such a beautiful gift by taking care of her and loving her and keeping her in her own house until the end. And then came Pamela, my Pamela. I'm happy now. I got my beautiful little girl, Sparkles. Mom called me Pam all the time, and I knew that she was always thinking about her Pammy. I just loved it when she called me Pam. Then came two, Larry Ray and Terry J. I'll start with my Larry. Oh, my Larry. Mom, there's a tornado warning. Please go down to the basement and climb between the mattresses. Mom did it. When he would call, she would ask him, is it storming out? Should she get down to the basement? And then there is his Mountain Dew bottle that he left by the couch. Nobody could throw it away, so she could constantly think about her Larry. 7 minutes later came Terry, my sweet Terry, who has a heart of gold. When I was in the hospital with Mom before she passed, the last thing she ever said to me was, where is Terry? I told her he was taking care of Penny and would be right back. She was very peaceful then. Every Sunday when I would call, she would light up and say, my Terry will be calling today. Okay, then there is me, the baby, the spoiled baby. Mom and Dad had a special seat between them in the rig when we went places, and no one could sit there but me. Yes, I was truly loved and very spoiled. So this brings me to number 7, my Sue. My sweet sister Sue, not related by blood, but attached by love. Right before Mom asked me, where is Terry, the last time she talked, she said, Sue, Sue, Sue. I assured Mama that Sue would be there shortly. A beautiful, peaceful calm came over her, and she knew that she was safe. Each of us was her favorite child. So, Mother dear, we know that you are somewhere over the rainbow. Thank you for showing us all what a wonderful world. We will love you till we die. Meet you on the other side.
That was excellent. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else? Well, thank you, all of you ladies, for the wonderful tributes that you've shared in this service this afternoon. And we are going to take some additional time a little bit later in the service to continue reflecting on the things that I know that you always will remember the most about Darlene, the things that I know that you appreciated the most about her. Friends, you've probably heard that old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so right now we're going to view a slideshow that's been prepared to help us as we continue to reflect on Darlene's life and legacy.
I took the supermarket flyers from the windowsill. I threw the day old tea from the cup. Packed up the photo album Matthew had made, memories of a life.
turn this into an unnecessarily sad or somber or solemn occasion. And so my hope is that in spite of the grief that I know is very present, my hope is that we can do our best to make this what I think Darlene would have wanted it to be. My hope is that we can make this a celebration of a good woman who lived a good life, a woman who's left this world a great legacy, a woman who made this world a better place. And friends, I realize this is a very predictable thing for a pastor to say, but the greatest reason that we have to celebrate today is because we know that at this very moment, Darlene truly is in a much better place. Have you ever thought about what heaven will be like? There have been authors who have written stories, poems about heaven. There have been artists who have rendered paintings and illustrations of heaven. There have been composers that have written songs about heaven. Hollywood has made movies and TV shows that have attempted to depict heaven. And you know, friends, I think that all of these artistic interpretations of the eternal, I think they're interesting and I think they have value. But at the same time, friends, I think that you know as well as I do that artistic interpretations have their limitations. And friends, at the end of the day, I think heaven's going to be so much greater than anything that you or I or an artist or anyone could ever possibly begin to imagine or comprehend. You know, friends, at the very end of the Bible, literally on the very last page, in Revelation chapter 21, we're given just a small glimpse into eternity. Revelation chapter 21 tells us that heaven will be a place where we will live with the God who created us from the dust of the earth, and we're promised that in heaven, God will wipe away any and every tear from our eyes. We're promised that in heaven there will be no more death, no more sorrow, no more crying, no more pain. We're promised that in heaven, God will have made all things new. And so I hope that you can find a measure of comfort in the reminder that Darlene truly is in a much better place. But at the same time, friends, I absolutely understand. I do. I understand the pain of losing a parent. I understand the pain of losing a grandparent. I understand the pain of losing a family member, a friend, a neighbor. I know that Darlene was a great woman. And I know that she will be greatly missed. And so for those of you who are understandably grieving as a result of Darlene's passing, what I would also simply remind you is that the same God who's welcomed Darlene into eternity with open arms, friends, I hope you will remember that that same God will be available to all of us, to comfort us and to help us in the difficult days that I know will lie ahead for many of you. Psalm 147 tells us that God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, healing their pain and comforting their sorrow. And friends, I believe that God is a never-ending source of comfort and strength. And just as Darlene Holbert is God's child, friends, all of us, every single one of us in this room, from the youngest to the oldest, all of us are God's children. And I don't think that God ever wants to see any of us suffer needlessly, but rather I believe that it's in the difficult moments like these when God is more than willing to come right up alongside of us. I believe that God is always willing to reach out and to take us by the hand and to walk with us for as long as we need through the difficult days that I know will lie ahead for many of you. And friends, some final thoughts that we should probably consider this afternoon are these. What can we learn from the examples that Darlene set for us over the course of her life? And how should we continue with our lives after we leave here today? I had a really nice visit with several of Darlene's daughters, and as they told me about Darlene, I took notes. One of the questions that I asked them is what they would always remember the most about their mother, what they thought the rest of you would say that you will always remember the most about her. And they talked about that beautiful smile that we saw in picture after picture after picture in that slideshow. They talked about how she always said, life is good. They said that Darlene was really good with her money. Is that a nice way of saying it? I think frugal was the word that they actually used, but we'll say she was really good with her money. But they said the point was that she always wanted to save her money for her kids and for her grandkids. They said that she loved to travel and she was willing to try anything. They talked about the places that she had been, including Alaska and Hawaii and New Mexico and Colorado and San Diego, just to name a few. Said that she had been on a dog sled in Alaska when she was in her 70s. That's not something I want to do in my 50s. They talked about how she loved to dress up for Halloween and for St. Patrick's Day and for football game days, and I think we saw some of those pictures in the video earlier as well. They talked about how she enjoyed going and playing the slots with her loved ones. I think we saw some pictures of that. Talked about how she loved Husker volleyball. Said that there was a time in her life when she felt like she wasn't really a big fan of animals, but that she eventually fell in love with her little dog, Daisy. Said that she was an avid reader. Talked about how she loved doing puzzles, like the one that we saw in the video there at the very end. Talked about how she loved listening to nature. She loved to listen to the wind. She loved listening to rainstorms. Talked about the beautiful silver bracelets that she wore up and down her arms. Talked about the colorful tennis shoes that she liked to wear. Said that there were a few things that she didn't like. Said that she was not someone who liked to drink water. Because, there were better things to drink than water as far as she was concerned. Said she wasn't a fan of beets either. But they said that she had loved waitressing when she was younger. And they said that her favorite food in the whole world was nachos from Amigos. Another question that I asked Darlene's daughters is what they appreciated the most about her, more than anything else. And they talked about what a hard worker she was, what an incredible provider she was for her family. Talked about how she worked 2 jobs for many years. Said that she was an incredibly giving person. They talked about how Darlene was someone who always was pulling for the underdog, and she was always there for those who needed a helping hand. Said that her life was all about her family. Her life was all about all of you. They talked about how she always wanted her children to be happy, even if that might mean that her children would have to move somewhere else, and it might cause Darlene a little bit of sadness. More than anything else, she wanted her children to go and follow their dreams and be happy wherever those dreams took them. Said she was so loving, she was accepting, she was non-judgmental. And the thing that they appreciated the very most about Darlene, maybe more than anything else, was the fact that she was such an incredibly positive person. Said that she was just about the most positive person that you could ever possibly be. And friends, in the future, when you remember Darlene Holbert, I hope these are the things you remember about her. I hope you remember all of the great qualities that she had. And friends, what I always tell people in occasions like these is that when we take the time to reflect on a person's life and legacy, I think it's important for us to consider the legacies that we are creating for our own lives. Because friends, I think all of us here know that someday, someone is going to stand up and they're going to talk about what we did with the lives that we have been given. Just like this afternoon, we've been talking about what Darlene did with the life that she was given. And so, friends, if there are things that you admired about Darlene that you realize maybe that's an area in which you've got some room for personal growth. If you realize maybe you could be a little bit better about always putting your family first. If you realize maybe you could be a little bit better about always trying to be positive, then friends, I would encourage you today to make a resolution that you're going to try to follow some of the good examples that Darlene set for us. Friends, if you'll do that, then that's one of the ways in which you will carry on her legacy. And friends, the most important thing that I know to be true about Darlene is that she believed. And friends, because of that, we know where she is at this very moment. We know where she's going to be for all of eternity. Friends, it's my hope and my prayer that every single one of us will be reunited with Darlene one day in a much better place. And friends, that opportunity will come to all of us, just as it came to Darlene, just very simply, through faith. Nothing more and nothing less. Well, friends, as we've said, I know that this is a difficult day. I know it's painful to say goodbye to someone you've loved so much. But I want you to hold on to the hope that you have, knowing that someday you'll have the opportunity to be reunited with her. Until that, I want you to do your very best to carry on her great legacy. Until then, I want you to do all that you can to remember and to honor her. And as we prepare to conclude our time together this afternoon, I'm going to invite David Wiedner to come back, and he's going to perform a song for us, very fittingly titled, Remember. David, thank you so much for sharing your musical talent with us today. We deeply appreciate it. Well, friends, at this time, we will conclude with the Lord's Prayer, and you are invited to join in its recitation. Let us pray now together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Well, friends, I believe that at this very moment, Darlene is in heaven above. And when I asked her daughters what they thought she would probably be doing up there right now, they said that they took comfort in the thought that she would be reunited with her sister Gladys, with her grandson Mike. I would certainly like to think that she is looking down on this gathering and that she is honored by your decision to be here today to show your love and support. Once again, I want to thank all of you for being here, and I want to invite you to stay for the reception, which is going to be held in the reception room at this time. And friends, this concludes our memorial.
Okay, this one's for Gabby.